Hello there, everyone. Welcome back to the Coaxium Cantina. I'm Benjamin,
And I'm Aiden.
and in today's episode, we are going to be reviewing episode 2 of The Bad Batch, called Cut and Run. And if you haven't seen episode 2 of The Bad Batch, spoilers ahead. Don't watch this. Go watch it. And yeah, that's pretty much your spoiler warning. You've got 5 seconds to go off this video, go watch it, and then come back. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. That wasn't 5 seconds, but you get the idea. In. Cut and run.
Cut and run.
Cut and run.
Well,
yeah, it's yes, ladies and gentlemen, this podcast is 15 minutes of us repeating the title of the episode.
Right, yes. I thought, well, to start with, we thought that it was going to be Rex that the Bad Batch were going to, which is, I don't know, tiny bit of a letdown that they didn't. But at the same time, them meeting up with Cutler Quain was actually brilliant and was actually better than expected because we haven't seen Cut since
season 2, I think.
Season 2, or around that time, and we got to see the animation changes with Cut, Sue, and their 2 children, and it was actually just really fun to see, like, the development of their character.
I'm just looking up when the Clone Wars episode was. Clone Wars, the episode was called The Deserter. Let's have a look. Deserter, the Clone Wars. This is why you should come prepared. Season 2, episode 10, so I was right. Well, we were right.
Nailed it.
Was the last time we saw Cut the Quain. And yeah, I agree. I think everybody may have suspected Captain Rex, but the fact that we got a hint as to his whereabouts is acceptable, I think.
Yeah.
For now.
Yeah.
And obviously we know he's going to be in it. And I said this to you when we watched it. I kind of wish they didn't put Captain Rex in the trailer.
Yeah, because that would be good to build.
It'd be like, oh, Captain Rex is here. Oh, that's really awesome. I wonder whether they're going to see him, and then eventually see him, and it'll be like, oh my god, that's really awesome. So yeah, it was really interesting to see Cut over someone like Captain Rex. And it was interesting to see that the Bad Batch had previous encounters with him as well.
Yeah, they were talking like they were old friends, which was interesting.
Yeah. Yeah, because that one was weird because from what I remember in season 2, no one kind of knew that he deserted them.
Yeah, the time when the 50 first found him, it was like purely by accident.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So their friendship must have developed in between season 2 and the Bad Batch where we are now.
I think what is really interesting as well is that when the members of the 501st went to the homestead for the first time, Sue was instantly like cycle a rifle on them, going, "What do you want?"
Yeah.
And then when the Bad Batch arrived, she was like practically family, like that close with them.
Yeah.
And that shows like the little character development and obviously the amount that they've obviously got to learn about each other.
Yeah, true. So let's talk about the clones for a bit, because we spoke about this while we were watching it as well, about how we want to see the clones develop. Do you want to take this, or shall I explain this?
You can take it.
Thank you. Basically, we were saying about how we feel like the clone troopers should gradually turn into stormtroopers, not just one episode it be a stormtrooper armor, right? Because I think, from what I can remember, we've only seen Stormtrooper or Clone Trooper armor. There was no
Yeah.
kind of like gradual armor changes in that.
The only alternate thing you could say, like very loosely, you could say the cadet helmet from Rebels, but even that is like,
Yeah,
that's like practically completely Stormtrooper.
yeah. So there's not many ways that you could change a Clone Trooper helmet to a Stormtrooper helmet gradually, because it just kind of happens, doesn't it? I guess if you change like the eyes and the breathing apparatus around the bottom of the helmet.
I think it was
and the top the top of the helmet as well is the Stormtrooper top of the helmet is quite smooth, whereas the clones obviously have the fin on the top.
Yeah, I was saying this to you when we were watching it. I think that it's good that the only troopers that we are now seeing outside the Bad Batch are Phase 2 shinies, like battalionless.
Well, I guess the battalions,
plain white.
The battalions belonged to the Jedi, didn't they?
Yeah, so
Hence
the battalions
why there's
are
no
essentially
battalions
scrapped.
anymore.
Yeah, so they're just all white clone troopers, and it's cool because it's like as close to the Empire kind of change before it happens.
Yeah, I kind of still want to see Commander Cody though. I feel like seeing
same.
Commander Cody after Order 66. Obviously, we knew that he followed it fully. That would be really, really cool. Because obviously, we still have. I don't think that what we've seen of Grand Moff Tarkin will be the end of it. I think he'll reappear. Obviously, Crosshair will appear again. We'll talk about that in a minute. And I just think that maybe it could be a clever trap. I think I said this in the last podcast, actually, about how, Commander Cody contacts him and being like, hey, come over here. And then they're like, oh, Commander Cody, we trust you. And then, obviously, he betrays them because he's got the chip.
Yeah.
That could be interesting. And a kind of, if they bring Rex along with them as well, it's a kind of a reuniting Rex and Cody again.
Well, I was going to say about that, that's an interesting one, because in Rebels, when the Ghost crew meet Rex, Gregor, and Wolf, the Empire has essentially like said, right, we don't need the clones anymore, they've retired them.
Yeah.
So we know that Rex obviously had the events of the end of season 7, and he executed it, but then he was charged with treason, but then all of those clone troopers who would have charged him died. I'm curious to know how much power Rex actually has, if he's going off by himself, or if he could actually blend in with the newly forming Empire.
Yeah. Well, the I can't remember who I think that Wolf does actually contact the Empire, doesn't he?
Yeah.
So it's not like they were hiding from them.
It wasn't necessarily about hiding, I don't think. It was just staying off their radar, like lying low.
Yeah. But if they were that determined to lie low, they wouldn't have called the Empire, would they?
Well, I mean, it was Wolf who did it. So, like, it wasn't a group decision.
Yeah. Anyway, so that's the clones. Omega. Do you know how hard that is to try and say without the accent? And I don't want to do the accent because I will ruin the accent.
Yeah. I thought she was good in this episode, because I think the whole thing is going to be like a character development thing for her.
Yeah.
Because when we first see her, she's obviously only been on Kamino her entire life. And then at the start of this episode, you you have Hunter and Tech, or Hunter and Echo, talking about how she was like curious and walking all around their ship, and
Yeah.
then when they land on Silicamai, or however you
Salute
say
tonight.
that, Silicamai, she's like inspecting the dirt and looking at the sun and everything, which would blind any normal human, but hey ho.
I
So
really enjoyed
it's
the
gonna
bit.
be
I really enjoyed the bit where the first bit where she walked out the ship and she kind of took the dirt in her hand and, you know, sprinkled it on the floor, and Tech would be like, "Yes, that would be dirt."
yeah, she's so amazed because she's never seen anything like it. She's like, "Wow, what is this? That would be dirt." Tech is brilliant.
I love Tech. Tech's my favorite, I think, so far.
Yeah, I think Omega's whole character thing throughout the show is gonna be from
I th-
not not naive, but she's gonna go from like learning nothing to kind of learning the dangers of the Empire and the other worlds, because I mean she did almost die in this episode as well.
yes. Um, I think her purpose is more to break off the Bad Batch from being soldiers as well. I think
Yeah,
that's
she's the heart of the group.
she's going to be the one to stop them constantly being soldiers and following orders and, you know, all of that. I mean, we've kind of saw that in the first episode, how you know then apart from Crosshair, obviously, who's still super obedient, they didn't do their orders because of Omega. Whereas, you know, normally they would just do their orders and not really care. And that's kind of the thing that we saw more in this episode when she got attacked by whatever that was. That he kind of told her off like a soldier.
Yeah.
And then there was the instant contrast between someone who was a soldier who's now a
Not a farmer and a father.
Not a father, but a person that looks after people.
Yeah.
I can't think of a word for it. No, can't think of a word for it. Guardian, I guess, in many ways. I don't know. Protector, something like that. But yeah, and that's kind of what Hunter is turning into, and what he's got to learn about not being a soldier. He's got to learn about not being a soldier for the first time.
Yeah, because that was the whole premise of them going to this planet and talking to Kurt. It was the sense of they needed to know how to start to lay low during this whole change in the galaxy, and he said you have to kind of abandon the military way and go a bit more civilian like.
Yeah, I've got a mini moth. I got a mini moth in my room. It's really annoying me. I
honestly had thoughts of a little Grand Moff Tarkin. Just I thought you said moth.
What, just
a little Tarkin
flying about in front of my notes and really annoying me. Just a mini Grand Moff Tarkin. A Grand Moff Tarkin. My God. Anyway, on to the important bits. One of my notes that I've written down here is literally bullet point D. Bradley Baker.
Oh, the man's talented.
He is. There is no doubt, right? He was talented to do all the clones in the Clone Wars, right? But to do what? He did 4 characters, and then cut, and then have them all really, really different voices. It's insane. We were discussing this about how we hope that they're going to make a Bad Batch version of the gallery.
Yeah.
Because I'm really interested to see whether Bradley Baker did, whether he did them all at once, or whether he did one character at a time.
Yeah.
That would be really interesting to know.
I wouldn't be surprised if they did both of those tactics.
Yeah. I mean, certain scenes
he probably
could have...
would be able to do them.
Yeah. it's pretty impressive if you just switch to each one just instantly. That's pretty impressive.
Yeah.
I mean, that's why he's a voice actor, I guess, but still pretty impressive.
Pretty sure that's by the definition.
And I love how the credits just say The Bad Batch, D. Bradley
The Bad
Baker.
Batch. Oh. It's like he voices the majority of the show. Just give him that.
Yeah. And something we didn't mention in the last episode as well, I don't think we did, was Wrecker.
What your changing opinion towards him?
Yeah, right. So Wrecker was extremely annoying in the Bad Batch arc, right? Well, I found him extremely annoying in the Bad Batch arc. I don't know I can't remember your opinions on him in the Bad Batch arc, to be honest.
It's fine. My comments are forgettable.
Yep.
Cheers. I kind of found, I see where you're coming from. I don't think I hate him as much as you did, but I can see the irritation of like the oh man and like the disregard for the stealth aspect. Where in this episode you can see that he is quite capable of doing that.
But I think in both episode 1 and 2 of the Bad Batch, he is much improved.
Yeah, in this episode, he was actually like the most mature he's been.
Yeah,
because he was looking after Omega, and
I don't know what's going on between those two. There's something going on between those two.
I think it's just like I'd almost say it's like a kind of brother and sister relationship, because I feel like Wrecker has a very like childlike personality because he has the Lula doll. I think that's what they're called. And like he's very childlike, and she's the same. So it's kind of like I think it's the sense that he's got his brothers, which are the Bad Batch, but he's also got like a little sister.
Yeah, that's pretty cool. It's pretty good character development there. So
yeah,
that's good. Because you obviously, while Hunter's obviously the main guy, it's the same with these group films that can sometimes go wrong, is that you focus on the main guy too much, so the rest of them don't really get a say in it, get a character arc in it. However, apparently I did read somewhere that there are going to be episodes that are character specific.
Oh, okay.
So,
is that flashback or just story centered?
Well, I don't know, but I think there's going to be episodes that are literally just on like tech and some on Echo, all that kind of stuff. But we've already got a lot of Echo, so in terms of character development, he's not as important to develop in the early stages.
But then I suppose it's the Bad Batch side of him that they'd be developing, not necessarily his arc in general.
But at least we've got a character already.
Yeah.
Whereas the rest of them, we don't really have one. So if you get those done first, then you can go with Echo. But obviously the best time, the time where they're probably at their best is when they're all together.
Yeah.
But you've got to make sure that you don't focus on one character too much. So that, there's one character that just gets forgotten about.
I think, to be fair, that is something this show has done really well. It feels like every member of the Bad Batch has like kind of enough, a moment, enough speaking lines. Like they always have that kind of bit of focus. Like when in the first episode they came back to Camino, you had Hunter addressing like, oh, what's the Coruscant Guard doing here?
Yeah.
Then you had Wrecker talking about the PA system. Then you had Tech going on about, oh, the battalions aren't really like taking note of anything, and you kind of had a bit of focus for everyone.
Yeah. So basically, for what's going to happen next? Do you think?
Well, they've at the end of this episode, they got a lot more civilian. Like they still have their armor and they still have their ship, which was something I was worried they were going to lose completely. Because I absolutely love their armor and their ship. I think it's so awesome.
Yeah.
I think it's probably going to be a case almost a bit Mandalorian-like, where each episode is them finding out what they're going to do as they're doing it.
Yeah.
So they might try and find Rex in the next episode, but at the same time, they might also be going somewhere else, and then the episode after that, they might run into Rex or something.
I mean, it seems like, well, by the end of this episode, it seems like Omega has actually been accepted. Not that she wasn't before, but like she's actually going to be a proper member of the Bad Batch.
Yeah, because it's that classic that like, oh, I can't be this parent figure this child needs. So it's literally the same as the Mandalorian when he tried to give Grogu to the village.
Yeah.
It's literally like, I can't be this protector or this parent that this child needs.
Yeah.
And then the difference was Omega was just like, nah, I'm staying.
Yeah, true. So yeah, I guess that we're gonna have to try and find out what she is, because there was a hint in this where kind of said the Kaminoans don't do stuff for the fun of it. You know, there's got to be a reason why she's there. And I think in the last episode, from what I understood of it, that the medical officer kind of let them go.
Yeah.
So there's got to be, and I don't think she would have let the Bad Batch go necessarily. I think it was more to do with Omega. So she's got to have a reason why she's there, and obviously she's got to have powers, right? By powers, I mean defects, desirable defects.
Yeah.
But we don't exactly know what her thing is yet. A lot of people say that she might be force sensitive.
Well, that's the whole premise with the Palpatine body, isn't it?
Yeah, that's the force sensitive thing. I think we'll go into in another episode, maybe this week. But yeah, it's going to be interesting to see what her thing is.
Well, she seems very cerebral anyway, but then is that really the right thing considering you have Tech who has that same mutation and Echo who hasn't necessarily got a mutation, but he's kind of similar like Tech, where he has the same kind of mind and the way he views technology.
Yeah. I mean, Hunter isn't exactly, like, obviously I know he has the enhanced senses, but he's not exactly, he hasn't exactly got a defect, has he really? Like, it's not as prominent as the others.
Yeah, I think it's, whenever they say defect, I think it's just with regards to a normal clone squadron.
Yeah. Obviously, yeah, but she could be one of those where it's just. I mean, another thing I've seen is that she's Sharpshot's replacement.
Sharpshot?
Crosshair. I honestly don't know why I call him Sharpshot. I don't know where I got that
from. Yeah, I can see why, and she still needs to get her purple bow and arrow from the trailer.
Yeah, but she also, I think it's because she hit that shot on Crosshair when he was about to fire at Hunter, I think.
Yeah.
Or Wrecker. So people are either saying that she's Crosshair's replacement, but that wouldn't explain why the Kaminoans like built. I'm gonna say built her, but that's the wrong word. Or
Designed us
made her,
technically.
designed,
Yeah.
whatever. That wouldn't explain that because they've already got crosshair, so why would they need it again? Whereas Force sensitive could actually make a bit of sense.
And she did work as a medical assistant, so arguably you could say force healing if
Yeah,
you did want
yeah,
to go along that route.
yeah. Anyway, let us know about your thoughts on the Bad Batch episode 2 and where you think Omega's going to go or where she's going to end up or what her powers are. Let us know all that kind of stuff in the comments down below. I will see you guys next time, and so will Aiden. So we will see you guys next time. And yeah, goodbye.
Bye, guys.